Thursday, October 5th, and this is a Geek Night special. Tonight we bring you the final lost coverage from Otakon 2006, which includes, among other things, the famed assassination attempt by Anime World Order on myself and Scott. Now, before I begin, I would like to point out that this is a Geek Night special. For any of our newer listeners, this is not a canon episode. This is not a normal episode of Geek Nights. If you want to hear what Geek Nights is really about, and this is the first episode you've ever heard, I suggest you check out any other of the approximately 190 episodes we've got up on the website and in the feed that do not contain the word special in the title. Now, to provide a little background, this is a recording that we did shortly after the webcomics roundtable that we recorded at Otakon with the Anime World Order guys and Fast Karate for the Gentlemen, Ninja Consultants, a few other people were around. It was about 2 in the morning. I was both drunk and exhausted. My throat was so scratchy I could barely talk. Scott was doing equally miserably. And we were attempting to have some sort of panel discussion. This discussion, for anyone who is not fully aware, ended in myself being shot in the face with a clown pistol, shortly followed by Scott being shot in the face with a clown pistol. Now, you might be wondering, what is a clown pistol? Well, I think you're just going to have to listen to the following. I apologize for the audio quality in that I'm not going to even bother trying to clean this up. Now, there are a lot of conspiracy theories as to why this content was not provided immediately after Otakon, ranging from the fact that we actually died as a result of injuries sustained and we've been covering up ever since with clever robot voices, to some sort of conspiracy to cover up any sort of discontent among the masses or assassination attempts thereby. The sad truth is simply that GarageBand made a weird file, and I didn't want to bother trying to get it out and do the things necessary to make it able to be put into an episode of Geek Nights, let alone to clean it up and deal with all of the artifacts from the fact that there were a bunch of drunken people at 2 in the morning trying to record a podcast. But because we are going to Siticon this weekend, and we are not doing a normal show today, I had plenty of time to finally slap something together. So at long last, the moment you have all been waiting for, the first of, I assume to be many, assassination attempts on Rim and Scott of Geek Nights. As well as some commentary about Otakon, that con we were all at the time. So we're here at Otakon 2006 with the Geek Nights crew and the Anime World Order crew, and this is going to be a very freeform, somewhat alcohol-filled romp through, at least on my part, alcohol-filled, romp through Otakon.
Well, the first 2 days, it is currently Saturday night, pre-Geek Nights panel.
So, of course, first, let's have everyone introduce themselves so voices are actually understood as who they are.
Yeah, it's not actually just the Anime World Order crew, but I guess since you mentioned the Anime World Order crew, we may as well introduce ourselves. I'm Daryl Surratt from Anime World Order. a podcast about World Order and anime.
And I'm Gerald Rathgold, the other 1/3 of that.
The Muppets Eagle Rathgold.
Yeah, the Muppets Eagle, Stephen Hawking's butthead.
I was with the Muppets Eagle thing, but when he said the butthead, I was like, what?
And of course, the rest of our panelists here, I apologize for their audio quality, but they were using the cheapest microphone we have through no fault of their own.
Yeah, I apologize for my audio quality too, but that just comes with the territory of being me. I'm Noah Fulmore of the Ninja Consultant podcast.
Joel and I apologize for no such audio quality. I'm Dave Riley of Fast Karate for the Gentlemen.
And I am Joel White, the other half of Fast Karate for the Gentlemen, at joelanddave.com. That wasn't my decision.
And of course, in case this footage ever appears anywhere, it's not really footage. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geek Nights.
Great. Let's do this.
I guess I'll let... Do we try to coordinate this?
Here's a secret. We don't really say let's do this. We've said it maybe twice.
We recorded it raw every time. Yeah, we got it right once, and we were like, let's use that in every episode forever and see if anyone notices.
Yeah. You want to say it?
Let's try it. 1, 2, 3.
Let's do this. That was pretty good.
Good enough.
All right.
All right, so I guess we'll let Gerald and Scott kind of lead the discussion because you have the schedules in front of you.
Yeah, I think we should just go through Otakon kind of chronologically speaking. So when did we get here? We got here Thursday morning. When did you guys get here?
I got here Thursday, around Thursday noon.
Thursday noon? Yeah, that was about when we got here, right?
Yeah, give or take.
Yeah,
Alright.
I got here. I was supposed to get here Thursday, 8:15. The flight was delayed for roughly an hour and a half because there were just total ineptitude on the ground people and the air traffic controllers. And then I get here, and then I have to carry an extensive amount of obscenely heavy flyers, of which we have printed up several thousand. The box of flyers weighs 50 pounds. I weigh roughly 110.
Also, I would like to note that he is a Otakon virgin.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, how many Otakons everyone here been to? Me and Rim, this is our fifth Otakon.
Yeah, so the story continues.
Oh,
For
God.
those of you who don't know, it's exceedingly hot this weekend. On Thursday, it was something like, feels like 112 degrees Fahrenheit. And so I had to carry this box, and I got on the train, the light rail, at a mere $1.60. And on the way to the con, the train stopped in the middle of the tracks. No lights, not at a stop or anything. Total blackness. I was expecting Judgment Night to happen. And then the train starts going backwards. And it stops for about 20 minutes. And then eventually I got here.
I got a phone call from him as well, and I'm about to wish him goodbye.
Not even good luck.
Tell him about the hobos.
Yeah.
There's
Oh,
a lot.
right.
There's a lot of hobos in Baltimore.
is the home of the hobo.
Well, they're not technically hobos; they're bums. A hobo is someone who actually works and just doesn't have a home and kind of does things that are homeless. But
You guys clearly do not inhabit populated areas. Joel and I, being from the wonderful metropolitan area of Philadelphia, are acclimated to spending no less than $2 for a public transit fare, not actually getting to the intended destination, and being harassed by hobos or bums, should you prefer.
Fortunately,
While
I
on the
played
way.
Condemned Criminal Origins and know exactly how to deal with hobos.
With
a wooden stick.
Door of a locker, man.
all right, so after everyone did or did not get here peacefully or quickly, there was a pre-reg line. What did you think of the pre-reg line?
Are you going to go through every single thing? That
No, I'm not. I'm gonna go through the major things. I think the pre-reg line's pretty major. Because that's the only thing that happened on Thursday at
We
all.
ran into 3 cosplayers. I asked them what the fuck they thought they were doing, and that was it.
Yeah.
I stood next to a really fat man with an Evangelion tattoo, and I got a photograph of it too.
A really fat man at an anime con.
Yeah, with
I've seen that same fat man in years past.
Oh yeah,
Unit 1 on what? The left?
on the right
left-
shoulder.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that's the
Had
guy.
to be the guy.
Wow.
Oh, scary. Yeah, well, the people at the front of the line said they were there since like stupid early in the morning, but then we just went out there at like 6 and it only took 10, 15 minutes to get through the line.
Yeah, they let us in early just to sit inside there because they were sure that people were going to die from the heat stroke.
Yeah, pretty stupid people. They had umbrellas though, which is smarter than we were. We were not smart enough to bring the umbrella to
No, we
block out
weren't.
the sun. That was an idea we never would have had. All right, so fast forward to Friday morning.
How about 2 things we did at the con?
Yeah, what did you do Friday morning? Anyone remember? You went to work, really?
We
showed up,
I didn't get here until 9:50
Friday.
on Friday.
Awesome. And you still had to pay the 3-day fare to get in.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
That's right. I got in and I spent the 2 hours at the artist table.
But we didn't have to wait in the pre-reg line.
Oh.
True.
Pund.
Did you guys go to any panels?
We went
Fantastically, many of us went to a certain panel just a little while ago.
that was
On Friday?
On Friday morning?
on Friday morning. We went to the OC Remix panel.
Oh, yeah.
Where we finally got permission from DJ Pretzel.
Yeah, our opening song, we never actually got permission, technically. We just asked him for it, and he didn't answer, and that was good enough.
Yep. So, and we figure he gives the MP3 away for free. He doesn't mind. And he didn't mind. He was totally cool, but yeah.
I didn't actually stay at the panel, so
Yeah.
I can't talk about it. And I have
It
nothing
was
to say about
actually,
it.
as panels go, it was pretty good because, they had like live performances and stuff. Like they played music and they sang stuff, and it was much more than I expected. And then some people actually asked some moderately intelligent questions.
I went to the Sentai panel, I don't have anything funny to say about it, but they played a 16-minute clip of every single opening to every single Super Sentai show that's ever been created.
I think lots and lots of running away from explosions in rock quarries.
Did they seriously do every?
One.
Are you sure it was every single one ever?
Every single Super Sentai. Super
Which
Sentai.
is totally different from Battle Heroes and
Sure,
Kamen Rider.
We've done the research, and they're all pretty much the same.
Oh my God, were they?
But like, was the panel well done at least?
It was very well done. These people seemed to know what they were doing, and I mean,
That makes one.
yeah. Then again, I only stood there for the video, so whoever did that video was really good. I walked out after it.
Yeah, I was thinking of going to History of Gynax, but it was just two dudes I'd never heard of with no visual aids whatsoever talking about how Gynax existed there.
Seems a lot of panels were like that this year. There's
that's
someone
what I was
talking
gonna say.
about something. Like, I'm going to talk about something I know nothing about.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. You know, when I go to a panel, I expect to be informed about something I do not know. Like, if I went to the Super Sentai panel, I would want someone to teach me the difference between Super Sentai and non-Super
Ultra
Sentai.
Sentai.
Yeah.
I believe they did go into that.
Did
to their
they?
Credit. Yeah.
See, because then that's a good panel. But take
thought it
the
was good.
science in anime panel it has the contrary, which I spent about less than a minute in. It was just nerds going nerd, 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 nerd. And they really didn't have anything intelligent or informative to say at all. Totally uninspiring and a waste of time.
Yeah, on the subject of that, I went to Anime Name That Tune. It was run by a girl, and she had decided she'd cut out 300 of these little paper egg-shaped things, and whoever had the most of them at the end would win. And she got through about 40 songs because the thing was an hour long, and half the songs were from like the same shows. And she's like, well, this is probably like the second oldest thing I've got, and I lost at life and have to commit ritual suicide because someone else beat me to Fist of the North Star. Part 2.
Part 2.
No, Tough Boy.
Tough boy.
Oh.
And yeah, I gave up on going to see Nobuteru Yuki, the character designer, because I wanted to check out older otaku. And every year before, they had these real old guys there, these guys that were like watching Astro Boy and 8-Man when it came on TV. And
Yeah,
this year, they had guys that were my age. And
Isn't that a scary feeling?
yeah, and then they were talking about, back in the day of like Streamline and trading tapes. I wanted people like back in the day of Super 8, back in the day before color TV.
Well, there are some of those guys that were at the Club Summit,
Yeah,
actually.
there are those guys who are, I don't know their names or anything.
I don't know what their club is. What's the name of their club again?
I don't even remember.
But there are like these 3 guys who've been coming to the Club Summit every year, as long as we've been here. And because they run this anime club of old guys, it's like this community club, and they watch the oldest stuff you've ever heard of. Like, it's way cool when they talk about it.
Yeah, they
Guess
should be
that's
running
why
that
it's called
panel.
Older Otaku and
It's like-
not Oldest
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otaku.
I mean, it's like they're talking about 8th Man, and 8th Man is new stuff to them.
Tobor the Eighth Man, the brand new prehistoric monster. I don't even remember the lyrics to that stupid song. Something about how the FBI is helpless back in the days when the FBI was capable of repelling alien invasion.
It really went downhill since then.
And I should mention it took about 45 minutes to get into the dealer's room after the line got moving, an hour after the line got moving.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know what was up with that, because usually people don't line up in that quantity for the dealer's room at Otakon. That was a surprise.
what
Well,
was
I mean,
interesting was that
does
the
he-
line got longer as it started moving.
Yeah, why was that? I mean, there was nothing else to do with the con?
I think that had something to do with just not pushing people into the room fast enough. I mean, usually on Friday, the line builds up, and then as soon as the room opens, the line disappears in like less than an hour, less than a half hour. But this year, it just stuck around for a long, long time, and they couldn't get people into the room fast enough.
And yet they close it at 8 on Friday and at 6 on Saturday.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why?
A lot of cons have been closing dealers' rooms earlier and earlier these years.
I think it's possibly to encourage, because when the dealer's room is open, that pretty much takes away a giant pile of people from any event that's going on. So if they want to encourage people to go to certain events, they'll close the dealer's room earlier, open it later. Or,
And that's
Why
what
would they
Otakon
do that?
needs. More people at the events. Because there
Yes.
just aren't enough people at
They
Otakon to
can't-
go around.
Once they close the dealer's room, they can't seat everybody anywhere.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is true.
Though at least Otakon has mitigated that now. I mean, the Masquerade can seat like 15,000 people now. If you want to see the Masquerade, you can see it. There's no longer a question of getting into that room.
Yeah, that did used to be a problem where, people would line up for the cosplay and only some of them would get in and the rest would go, damn it. Now, the number one biggest event at the entire con, anyone who wants to see it can see it, and they just have to walk down the street. The thing is, I didn't really notice I figured that when that was going on, the con would be empty, but I never really noticed the con being empty.
Because a lot of people are like us and we'd never go to masquerades ever for various reasons, ranging from dislike of cosplay to dislike of cosplay.
To the fact that,
Well, cosplay skits at least.
Yeah, I mean, the cosplay is traditionally, there are 3 awesome skits that are entertaining as hell, and then the rest of them are painful.
3? That's generous.
That is generous. It is Otakon, so there would be 3 at Otakon and there'd be 1 or fewer at any other con.
Yeah, like that Muppet Utena one a few years ago. That was just amazing.
That was amazing, but it's really just not worth it to sit through 30 terrible ones to see the 3.
I, for one, am quite glad that I don't even know where that cosplay was held.
All right,
it was in some magic
there's
building.
the Baltimore, what's it called?
The First Mariner
Arena, which is a hockey arena.
It was where the Larkin's Hill concert was.
Oh, okay, that.
Yeah, full-on
At the
arena.
convention I've never been to before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But as soon at night, like you think all the stuff at night's 18 plus, all the kids would go home, and they did, but everything still filled up like crazy. I mean, even freaking, what was that movie we just went to? I forget what it's called. Sex and Fury.
Oh, boy.
It just filled up with people, and then halfway through the movie, all the people left. It's like, why did you get in line in the first place?
Yeah, did you guys hit any of that
Because the name of the movie is Sex and
I know.
Fury.
18 plus content?
And they must have all realized there's far too much sex and not nearly enough fury.
I was
this
going
film.
personally for the Fury, and I was dealt with too much sex, and
There was no man in a spacesuit with a flamethrower blasting off into the cosmonaut. The Fury, yeah. No, and Lethal Weapon 4, that's right. An opening scene where Danny Glover has to dance like a chicken.
Okay, so back to what we were doing.
Lethal Weapon 4 track.
Let's see.
yeah. Did anyone go to any of those other 18 plus nighttime things that we didn't go to? Like
Confidentially, yes.
Nah.
Well, I meant
Well, in the interest of journalism.
yeah.
Yeah, well, what did I see?
Let's see,
No,
what
I
was
didn't
there?
go to
Did
that.
anyone actually go
No.
to
I
the
mean, actually, at
do-it-yourself
Gerald's
bukkake?
recommendation, I went and watched
What
a good
exactly does
15
that
minutes
mean?
of Bella.
We've been trying to figure it
That
out.
a little bit for
It
a
was
second.
drawing hentai, is my understanding.
That's what our understanding was too, but we're not sure.
Totally weak.
I-
That you would name your panel that.
I think they named it that to attract people, and it
and
worked
then the
because
con
they're.
guide, when you look at it, it just says hentai drawing. Like they wussed
Yeah,
out
but
on
then-
it.
What? All
It
right,
says do-it-yourself bukkake on
read
this.
It's a
read it
lie.
from the book. Read
Yeah.
it from the book.
I really
It's
thought
written
they
there,
would
but it's
teach you,
changed on like the revised
go
schedule.
faster.
Yeah.
Like, if it's do it yourself.
Well, don't make the girl wait.
No, listen, that is not the terrifying panel. That's the panel with the most terrifying name. The terrifying panel was the hookups panel.
Oh my
Oh, God,
God.
yeah.
Let's
Yes.
get social.
Oh, Scott Johnson went to that,
Yeah,
didn't he?
wasn't the
And
ratio of
Conrad.
men to women like 3-to-1, and that only increased as the night went on?
Say only 3-to-1.
I don't know. There were a lot of things I just walked in and was terrified by. The anime parliament. I walked in.
Oh,
Oh,
God. Have you ever
God.
been to one of those
No,
before?
no, I never heard of it. It's like,
No,
what,
they're
what is
scary
this?
as
Did you
They
know
have-
what it was walking into it?
No, I was like, anime parliament. What are they gonna do? And then it's like,
No,
oh,
they have those at a lot of Northeast cons, and it's quite frightening.
note to self: never attend Northeast Con.
No, just never attend Anime Parliament.
Wait, what is Anime Parliament?
Yeah, what is anime parliament?
since you-
Anime parliament is
Oh,
You want to describe
free
it? 'Cause,
bonus gear.
I mean, you experienced it for the first time.
I
You can-
walked in and walked out instantly just because it was like, oh well, the Archangel has been sentenced to being a ripoff of.
The way it was explained to me, because I've never stayed in one of these for more than about 15.5 seconds, is that people who have a grievance with an anime will come in and say, like, my favorite character shouldn't have died in this show. And then the panel will pass judgment, like, yeah, they shouldn't have. They're hereby alive.
So that's not even really Parliament.
No, not at all.
I
was
thought-
expecting-
All right, allow me to
Resign,
read.
Resign, resign. Sit down, sit down, sit down.
Allow me to read the description from the con book here.
Ava didn't end like that.
At Anime Parliament, you, as your chosen character, can strive, so there's role-playing involved, can strive to clear your name, get justice, or argue for admission into another anime universe. Bring witnesses to provide counter defenses and increase your chances of swaying the vote.
All right, the looks on everyone's faces were priceless as that was
Like,
read.
just the black hole of.
This is just, I expect a guy to walk in a football jersey and scream, "Nerds!"
That would be so great. You could be like Gendo Akari and be like, no, rape and incest is totally cool.
That's pretty lame. They couldn't even get the name right because they're not actually legislating. They're adjudicating. So it's anime Supreme Court.
Where's
That's
James
exactly
Caan when you
wrong.
need him?
Okay,
He's an
you
expert
know,
in the aforementioned art of
Parliament
adjudication.
isn't exactly a foreign concept in the Western world. You can look up the rules of Parliament anywhere in a local library, the internet. They probably have
Nobody else
notes
likes
on
the
our
way of the
Wikipedia.
gun.
Yes, I'm sure that
John, it's the greatest movie ever
Robert's
made.
Rules of Order come second nature to Otaku.
God, this
They
is
do indeed.
that is in fact the second time in this con that Robert's Rules of Order have come up because I talked about it extensively in our panel.
At the Anime Club Summit, whether or not Robert's Rules of Order need to be invoked.
Yes,
Which
good God.
occasionally they do. They
Yeah.
are very important.
In terms of other things that were very important, we went to I Can't Believe You Haven't Seen That, which is a panel that we had just ripped off ourselves
1 week ago.
about 1 week ago, and we wanted to see how the real pros would do it.
And it turns out you were the pro.
Yeah, well,
They
they
didn't
did.
do a bad job. They were good guys.
Yeah,
There's no humor in there.
Well, what
Sounds
did
like
they
something
believe?
you
What
say
did
for
they
guys
not
who
believe?
weren't
I
that
haven't
good.
seen.
they had things like Future Boy Conan and
No.
Bobby's Girl, which is this really obscure Madhouse OAV.
Yeah, never heard of that.
That Gerald and this guy are the only people on the planet to own.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then they also had perennial classics such as Riding Bean.
Riding Bean.
I saw Riding Bean.
And
Anime
the,
Club Library.
and the special how to teach your children absolutely useless English through Doraemon. Singing things like "I've been working on the railroad."
I saw that. I recently saw that.
Did you see it with the ridiculous warning subtitles like "Warning, hobos will take your money"? And
Well, you don't actually work on the railroads.
yeah, and then they close things off by showing the Wizard of Speed and Time.
I don't know what that is, but it sounds awesome.
Sounds like
I can't believe you haven't seen that. And then the other panel I was sort of let down by, actually, let me back up. Digital fan subbing. That was like Live Evil, the panel.
Great.
Was
So
it really?
What did
Were
they
those the
say?
live-
They
Evil
talked
guys.
about how much better they are than professional subtitlers.
Oh,
Because they put a
Right.
billion liner notes on the screen, like as someone talks.
Yeah.
all
And they
about
use fancy-
karaoke opening theme songs.
Yeah.
It's all about fancy fonts that sometimes are hard to read.
I mean, that makes it. Full Metal
no
Alchemist
border.
crap without that karaoke.
Also, failing to interpret context. Very
Ah.
important in any fan sub operation.
Yeah, being very
Having a
liberal
French
with the
guy
use of
that doesn't really
obscenities.
speak English translate to Japanese.
Then the next panel I went to, and I'd gone to this because of the recommendation of Aaron from the Weekly Anime Review Podcast, who's regrettably not here because it's like 3 a.m. It's Your Favorite
Awesome.
Anime Sucks, the panel.
I had high hopes for that.
I had
didn't
really
know
high
that.
hopes for it because on other internet message boards, I have as my avatar, Your Favorite Anime Sucks. And I do panels at conventions entitled Anime That Sucks. But my approach is that I show clips of anime that sucks. And their approach is, well, we're 3 guys on stage and the audience, we're going to call people from the audience and they're just going to say an anime name and we're just going to fire back why it sucks. Which I guess if you're really fast on your feet, and to these guys' credit, they were all really fast on their feet, it could work, but I just didn't think it was funny. I don't know.
Could you give an example of what was said?
All right. Someone said something like, they had a few things worked out in advance. You could tell. Like, someone said, oh, Bleach is the obvious one. And then they said, all right. And then they all put their mics down and said, all right, let's do a trust check. And then one guy got behind him and he's like, all right, trust check. And he fell back and caught the guy. And he's like, all right, now, Bleach, do that with swords. That's the joke.
Wait, what?
I was gonna make the cricket noise.
And then things like Space Runaway Ideon. The guy who was running the panel happened to have an Ideon shirt on. And he said, this is a show where a 5-year-old girl, you get to see her head burned into a crisp, and then everyone in the universe dies. And I said, wait a second, I thought you said explain why the anime sucks. Not why it's totally freaking awesome.
Get me on the stage.
Oh, they didn't call on me. I had my hand up for a good hour straight because they must have sensed.
What anime were you gonna say if they called on you?
I was going to say Mad Bull 34. And any reason they could have possibly given me for why the anime was bad would in fact have been.
I think that would be the trick, is to name an anime they never heard of. That way, what are they gonna say about
they
it?
take great pride in the fact that it's impossible to stump us because we know every single anime that you could possibly name.
Don't ever say that around us. Ever.
Yeah.
They were smart to not call on me.
Also, they got one wrong. Someone called out High School Rumble, and they confused it, I think, with Combustible Campus Guard Dress.
Oh.
Nobody caught it.
And while Daryl was at this panel, I was witnessing art in motion. I was at the movie Belladonna, and this is a it's supposed to be a porno movie that Osamu Tezuka did. I don't know what was going on in that movie. What are you doing, Daryl?
I'm seizing the microphone from you so I can mention how if you thought the experimental shorts that Geeknights reviewed by Tezuka a few weeks back were weird, Belladonna.
Yeah, we ran into.
Belladonna. Holy shit! There was a scene in there of a woman pooping fish that flew into the air, and then another one. She ripped herself open, and balls fell out of her.
See,
And
That reminds me of that thing we
I
saw at the
missed
Sex
that.
Museum.
Oh, God.
Remember that?
Because Adam and I ran into Gerald after he'd come out of that, obviously, and he mentioned it. I was like, Tezuka porn? There's no way. So I went, and it's a woman talking to this demon who turns into a giant penis, and then there's this yellow submarine kind of sex scene, and I have no idea what was going on.
yeah, I think I saw that scene, and where she was supposedly having sex, and she got fatter and fatter and fatter and exploded.
And meanwhile, the camera's zooming in more and more and more.
Yeah.
You can buy this movie on DVD. It's part of a 3-pack along with Cleopatra, Queen of Sex.
And 1001 Nights, and Cleopatra has Mark Anthony fighting in a gladiatorial combat, and he gets thrown a handgun.
We gotta get that.
Yes, we have to review that. Something
Is
hard.
that not how it happened? 'Cause
And Julius Caesar has syphilis.
Yeah, when they
There's ninjas in
There's
this movie.
there's a ninja as well, and there's gamelons.
Julie
I
Caesar
swear to
only
What's the
God.
limit on that?
100%.
We're good. We're good.
I like my history
gotta
better
go
with
to
gamelons.
So everyone out there, find Belladonna. You will never be the same again.
God.
Wait, you're recommending it on those grounds?
Holy shit! Yes.
He was shaking. He was sweating. His pupils were fully dilated. The man was jittering. We have it on tape.
Now that was something else.
Yeah, that's one thing, listeners of all of our shows here. If any of us say don't watch something, we're not saying don't watch it as in, oh my God, it's hilarious. Watch it because it's bad. We're like, don't watch it. Just don't fucking watch it.
you were wasting precious moments in your life.
Empty geist.
You're only going to live for probably around 60 to 80 years. You know, why spend a whole hour of it watching something completely terrible and that will only bring you pain? Unless you're into that sort of thing.
Because it makes really awesome podcasts.
Yeah.
That's the entire purpose of our podcast, really.
Yeah. Meanwhile, speaking
To
of terrible,
trick people into watching horrible things.
speaking of terrible things, while they were watching Belladonna and whatnot, I watched Lady Terminator, followed by Art of the Devil 2. Lady Terminator was it was so stupid. Oh my God.
So why did you watch it?
I don't know. We walked into it and like in the middle of it.
I was out experiencing art, giant penis demons.
Yeah. This was, well, there were penises, I guess. It was a woman acting much in the same way.
Could you be a little more specific?
All right, well, the Lady Terminator, most of the people she killed was just blows them down with an Uzi that has infinite ammo somehow. But occasionally she would like take her shirt off, use her moderate breast to attract some men. Then she, they would, of
Wait,
course.
Was this a live action movie?
Yes, it was.
I've seen this movie before.
Yeah, she would have sex with them, and then they would die of like bloody face bukkake somehow.
Someone just explained to us that there was some sort of snake in her that was biting them.
I think that's what someone did say, but I
Just
wasn't
like
sure.
in Ninja Scroll.
That's right.
Later on in the movie, she inexplicably acquired a third means of dealing out death, which were eye lasers that could, well, when fired at a helicopter, caused it to explode. When fired at a man, they caused him to fall down and die. But when fired at the main character, they just didn't do anything at all.
Awesome.
The eye lasers are completely unexplained.
Eye lasers from whose eyes? Her
From the
eyes?
Lady Terminator's eyes. Just bzzz.
So she shot them into a mirror and they bounced back?
No, she shot them at a helicopter, which exploded.
Who's the main character?
The main character was some white blonde guy.
Oh, okay. I thought she was the main character.
No. She was like, it was more like the John Connor couldn't be killed with the eye
He was
lasers.
the title character, but not the main.
Exactly.
Well, I guess since we should probably move this along a bit, mostly to the fact that I'm going to pass out due to tiredness.
And we have a
such.
panel tomorrow.
Yes.
Good.
General impressions of the con. The dealer's room. How was it? What do you think?
I
this
spent
year?
$120 there on Monday buying cool stuff, so
Yeah,
I was kind of happy.
The front row crew combined bought, I think, 5 box sets of Giant Robo.
And like 4 Zeta Gundam boxes because they were $40.
I got all of Master Keaton that I didn't already have.
yes.
Yes, we got that.
Whoever bought all Master Keaton and all Big O box sets, man, F you.
Ha.
But there were none left. Is that what you're saying?
There weren't any left like last night.
Oh man, that's rough. That's rough. Yeah, screw that guy though for having Crying Freeman's Volume 1 and 3 and not 2, making 3 unbuyable and 2 not being there also unbuyable.
Honestly, though, the dealer's room was generally not. I'm just jaded, I think. It wasn't impressive anymore because it's mostly
So many
Bleach
unanswered
and
questions.
Naruto and like the same Gundam Seed things every year now.
Well, it's kind of hard to be impressed by a dealer's room,
True.
which is why I spent $120 buying really freaking obscure, weird stuff.
Yeah, and the
That
thing
wasn't porn related. I better make that clear.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, a lot of the weird
yeah.
stuff we see is either just weird old crap, you don't want it, or it's like I saw this great Galaxy Express poster from back in the day, and it was like $30, and I'm like, oh, I like that, but I'm not paying $30 for a
There was
movie
another
poster.
there, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was another poster from the same dealer that I was considering getting, a $25 theatrical poster for Odin.
Oh,
my God,
man, I
Space
think we
Sailor
gotta
Starlight.
I would pay $25 for that. That is totally worth it. Yeah. But yeah, I noticed a lot of things are missing from the dealer's room this year. Like, Viz wasn't there. Anyone see Viz? No.
No.
Viz, they usually give out those awesome bags.
They
And
weren't here last year, though, either, were they?
I think they were.
I think they were. They gave out all the free bags again.
Somebody missed it last year. 80
Yeah, and Bandai totally dropped the ball this year. They usually sell all kinds of awesome robot shit.
Yeah,
They-
Bandai didn't even try to muscle their way into our panel like all the other
yeah,
companies
Bandai
did.
was nowhere to be seen. I was like, where'd they go?
They were
Because they
somewhere
got
to be
rid of
seen. They
Fury.
were there in the $5 DVD section. Is all Bandai stuff.
Yeah, if you can't make it to a convention, I think what's the website of the $5 DVD guy? They're awesome.
Oh, I don't know.
Buy right.
Buy right DVDs.
Buy
but
right
you have to buy
DVD.
15 of
Yeah,
each
it's-
thing
it's-
before you can get
Yeah.
the prices.
Yeah, it's for wholesalers if you buy it off the website, really.
Not cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys hang out in the Artist Alley much? Check out all the art show.
Only fags are in the artist alley.
What?
Yo, easy, dude. Easy.
Only facts and
I guess that's just-
totally cool dudes.
I guess it might be more evidence to our
Exactly.
listeners that we're gay.
Great.
By fag, you mean awesome.
Yeah, the artist room was all right.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I saw a lot of it.
Yeah, like you guys check out the art show because it's been my experience. I mean, I like big cons, and I like small cons, but small con art shows have just been really bad this year.
Yeah, it's like you go to a con that's like maybe, a quarter the size of Otakon, but the art show is like 1/100th the size.
And
it's
it's all like the same tracings of the same scenes from Naruto.
yeah, it'll be like 4 pictures on a bulletin board.
Well, then
it's
again,
like,
you don't
bid
have-
on these.
You don't have the art show personalities that we have in Florida, or at least we had in Florida. That
That are exceedingly hairy people. No offense to anyone who is present right now, but they would opt to, instead of setting up in the artist alley, they just set up a random table somewhere in a high traffic area and blare really loud, obnoxious music.
Nah.
He's been banned from every Florida convention that I know of.
Awesome. Yeah, I thought the art show was pretty good this year compared to past years.
I bid on things. It's rare for me to bid on things.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever bid on anything before, but there was this cool Phoenix Wright, and the minimum bid was like $5, so I was like, hell's yeah. Comes in a frame. The frames are usually $5 at the freaking store. $5 for a frame with a picture in it.
Because we didn't delve into the porn room.
No, we did not. Did anyone else go in the porn part of the art show?
I
There was
didn't
a porn
realize
part?
they split 'em up.
Yeah, it was hidden
It's like
off, and
the
you had to be
ones
18.
that say,
Yeah, usually in past, I noticed that this year they've done a lot more of the 18+ checking than in past years. I mean, it used to be like you could have gone to see Each of the Killer 3 years ago without an ID check. And, in the Artist Alley, the porn was separated by a divider, but you could just walk back there. And if you were a little kid, someone saw you, they might be like, hey, what are you doing? But this year they were checking 18+ to go into the hidden area, which is more hidden than ever before.
Man, not being able to just walk down the aisle and see a picture of, like, say, Lena Inverse getting a tree limb up where it don't belong. It's like totally a different convention now.
Is that like Roots getting rude? Just,
Yeah.
I think I've got that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna complain about that at all. Because if anything, it means I just don't get exposed to it either.
Yeah, I'm not complaining about it.
Blindsided by it.
Yeah, I'm not complaining. I'm actually also glad that I don't accidentally see nasty hentais. It's just, I
So
noticed.
You do still have to deal with the fairy eyes yourself for $275.
I can't believe that guy has like such a specific skill. I mean, talk about a one-trick pony. It's like-
Yeah.
I mean, he could have said, I paint you into something. No,
Yeah, of course.
only fairies.
Like-
I would have gone with centaur, but not fairy.
Of course, like 3 people independently were like, Rim, you should do that. It'll be awesome.
We wanted to get one for one of our buddies.
If it was less than $270, that guy would have had like 5 commissions.
yeah.
It's like he's right over there. Here's his picture, as gay as possible.
So I actually have a question for Daryl while you're here about, you've been to the 2 prime days of Otakon. What do you think of this con? I mean, it's freaking huge.
I don't know. I think something's kind of missing from this whole thing. It's like all the elements are there, sort of. It's like, oh, you look at the list, you see like, oh, well, we've got our art show, and we've got our cosplay, and we've got our AMVs, and we've got our panels, and we've got our dealer's room. And it's like, what is missing? What is I don't know. There's something about it that is just not there. The Make It an Anime Con for me, and it's like I went an excessive distance, and I think I can sum it up in about 3 words. Sic Semper Tyrannis.
Now, the sound you just heard was that of a clown pistol, which is a small explosive device being detonated directly in my face, followed by my death scream. If you ever run into me in the street and blow something up in my face, you will probably hear a similar scream. Now, at that moment, the room went into silence for a second, and then everyone wondered, well, does he have any more of these clown pistols? Scott specifically was wondering this. And then he shot Scott in the face with a clown pistol.
I've got 2. That should be enough for all of you. I inadvertently left these in my bag.
The fact
I'm very glad I wasn't arrested by airport security.
I think you realize how often we've spoken of fucking clown pistols. Ever since you brought them up and we didn't know what they were, and then we Googled for them, and you guys show up as the number 1 link.
It's because clown pistols are not an official term. Whatever. And I just throw them down like I'm 47 and
Why
steal
did
off
you
into the
pick
night.
video?
Now coming here was worth it.
It was always worth it.
Stupid clown pistols are not acquirable in our northeastern states.
Yeah, you realize fireworks
are
are totally banned. Like, we
Yeah.
have to drive to Tennessee to get anything.
Oh my god.
We can go to
Pennsylvania
Target
has
and
just
get
bottle
some
rockets,
sparkle
that's it.
ones.
Sweet snake action.
Listen, I had to sign
also pick up a
I had to sign
shotgun.
a legal document stating that I was going to use these in compliance with a very specific Florida law stating the detonation of fireworks is permitted only if you're using them to frighten away birds.
Is that
They
true?
probably involve not pointing them at people's faces.
Listen, it's shaped like a gun. You don't shape something like this like a gun if it's not meant to be pointed at another human being.
And that was Geek Nights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for our opening theme.
Be sure to visit our website at www.frontrowcrew.com. If you like our podcasts, you'll love our forums. Make sure you visit them. You can send your email feedback to geeknights@gmail.com. And if you want, you can leave us a voicemail at 206-333-1537.
Geek Nights airs every weeknight, Monday through Thursday.
Geek Nights is recorded with absolutely no studio and no audience. But unlike those other talk shows, it's actually recorded at night.